record is on. Barbara, whenever you can either put on your video or not, or you can put yourself unmuted so that you can talk to us, ask any questions you want. I don't care where you are, if you're on week 1, week 2, or just have questions about life, okay? So you finished week 2. How do you feel about it? And then tell me like what you learned from it and so on and so forth.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to put you on mute because I'm like multitasking galore.
Well, this is mainly for you guys to talk to me.
Yeah. Well, I wish I wrote my question because something came up in one of them, but I can't remember what my question was.
If you can find it, let me know. I'm here.
Yeah, I know. I'd have to go back and listen because it was something in, hold on, I'm going to just put my video down. I'm going to actually turn it off because it's, I can't remember. There was something you said that kind of triggered a question and I didn't write it down.
Do you remember what week it was?
It was this week.
Well, what day it is in this week?
Probably day 1.
Okay, so day 1, let me see. I'm going to share my screen and go through it again. Yeah.
Oh, I know what it was.
Go.
It was actually the last one of week 1 about the gap, about the wheel.
Okay.
So I know when I did it with you, we went through and did it.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I was listening to your thing about it, though, I had a little bit of a different perspective on it.
Okay.
Because I think when I did it, it was like kind of how I was feeling now.
Mm-hmm.
But when you were going through and explaining it, you made it sound more of like identifying kind of like what your ultimate 10 would be and how you are in relation to that. And that's not how I've done it before, so I was just kind of curious, like, your perspective on that.
Yeah, I did both. So I always recommend figuring out like where you are now throughout the cycle.
Right.
And then of course at the end of it, if you just do it, then that's great. But the goal is to figure out like the gap where you are now to where you want to be. So what would it look like if you were 10 out of 10, or if you're a perfectionist and 9 out of 10, right? In that lifestyle in the next 6 months, 9 months, a year maximum, so that you can start figuring it out and seeing what can I do differently to get there.
But that's what I'm saying, like how I viewed like when you were talking about like where you would want to be, like I'll use your finances for an example, right?
Okay.
So you were talking about like you'd like to be making like 6 figures or whatever, 8 figures,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so like what is that timeline goal for you?
That's in about 6 months, I would say, or now 5. Mm-hmm.
8 figures?
Well, no, 6 figures is my goal. So making 10K per month is my goal.
Oh,
so
right. But I thought you had said like you also had a goal to make more.
I do, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, but no, I get that. But that's what I'm saying. So what is your 10? Is your 10 the?
So here, let me.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. So let me try to explain it to you. So we have different goals. Since in Aligned Action Academy, this Wheel of Life is a little bit different than the ones that you're used to. Normal Wheel of Lives is for your entire life and all that jazz. This is for the specific goal that you're focusing on in Aligned Action Academy.
Oh, okay. That makes a little bit more sense.
Okay. So for example, for if I were to do this Aligned Action Academy, I'd probably be like, my idea is to grow my business. So maybe writing a book or whatever, like picking one idea that will help me grow my business. And then you figure out, okay, well, where am I in these categories? And if I focus on this idea that I'm working on, for example, if you're writing a book or starting a business, where would that help me? And then how do I want it to look like in the next X amount of months or years? Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. So, well, yeah, I thought you were talking about it in terms of like an overall Wheel of Life, but I see what you're saying now.
You can. So here's the cool part. Again, nothing's cookie cutter. The way that I did it and the way that I explained it was your specific idea for Aligned Action Academy, and then seeing like how it'll play into each part. And especially normally when people have an idea and they're kind of scared to do it, it's mainly because like they're like, for example, their Wheel of Life, like someone told me they want to get married, for example, and that's their Aligned Action Academy. Their goal is to get married. Okay. So their relationship was like at a 1. with other people. And that was the main thing that they had their idea on. If you want to focus on starting a business, then probably your career or finances is one of the lowest for you. So your idea is tied into the lowest part of your real life on average. And that's why you want to work on it.
Got you. Okay, that's clear.
Okay, cool. Anything else?
No, I think I was just kind of mixing apples and oranges in there. So.
Okay, that's fine. So, by the way, Christina and Barbara, if you can unmute yourself at some point if you want to, I'd love for you girls to kind of introduce yourself a little bit for anybody else that watches this and hasn't met you girls yet. So, like, what's your idea? The whole thing.
Oh, I don't mind. I can go first. So I'm working on starting my business as a functional nutritionist and wellness coach. So that's what I've been working on with Jaslyn to do.
Yay. And Christina is one of my one-on-one clients for everybody else to know really quickly as well. She's awesome. I love her dearly. And then Barbara is in the middle of working. I don't know. I'm guessing she's not going to talk today, which is fine. So Barbara is in the middle of working on a patent/product that she's not allowed to talk about. So it's very shush for her. But I'm really excited to see her go all out. And I know that Barbara, I think we're a little bit behind, but you talked to me about the possibility of, continuing forward. Christina, your partner is who? For your account?
Is Lorraine.
Okay. And then have you talked to Lorraine recently?
We've just messaged. We haven't been able to set up a time to talk.
Okay. Yeah. For her, it's normally best at like 10, 11 a.m. And then Barbara, I know that you've been in contact with Marlou. So cool. Even if you're not doing it or not in schedule with Align Action Academy, I want you girls to still talk to your accountability partners because it helps a lot. It really does. Okay. All right, cool. So that was the question. As a breakdown, I'm going to kind of go through week 2, unless you girls have another question, just in case another question pops up while I'm going through week 2. Make sense? Okay.
Yeah, I'm good. Go ahead.
All right. Barbara, I missed you, girl. Where you at? All right, I'm going to share my screen. And I'm going to go through here. So week 2, day 1. We were going through what inspiration is and the difference between inspiration and creativity. So I'm not going to go through the definitions and stuff because hopefully if you're watching this, then you probably went through it or you could, go through that again. We also talked a little bit about the apocalypse. So I did have someone message me separately about the apocalypse and like how to make it or what do you do? It really just depends on you. So for example, I have like this little book that I think I put in the picture too. And I just have like different little things, and it's also called your bucket list, right? Or if you've watched One Day at a Time, it's called your bouquet list, right? So you get to decide just a different name for it, and then you literally can come up with what are the things that you've been waiting to do, waiting for that perfect moment for. Now you're gonna eliminate that perfect moment and just go for it, right? The whens, when you have the money, when you have the time, then you'll be able to do that, right? It's the if-thens again that we're getting rid of by creating this little apocalypse. So Christina, if you already went through this, since you're the one that's online at the moment, I'd love for you to put on chat or talk to me. I know you said you're doing 2 different things, but if you can put some examples that you put, I gave you girls a few examples of mine. I got a date box recently, so that I'm gonna be able to take that off my little list of things that I've been wanting to try. And then on June 1 through 5, I'm going swimming with dolphins. So that's another thing that's gonna be off my list. So little things like that. And then your goal is to see how many you could finish in the next 6 weeks. It doesn't have to be in order, but write them all down, even the crazy ones, even the easy ones, and then just every single day, just look at your list and see which one you could do.
So are you asking?
Yeah, you want to talk about it? Go for it.
Yeah, but I have I put the big ones.
Let me see.
Like big travel stuff.
Okay. Which one?
More.
You could do anything.
What's that?
Besides those, what else is on your bucket list?
So there's things like right now I told you I'm taking a drawing class, so that was one for this year.
Okay.
And so I've been doing a drawing class, and then I'm going to be doing a photography class. I also want to get back into sewing and design, so I have a thing to make an outfit that I want to do. So some stuff like that, and then What else is on there? So a lot of them are around like a lot of them are mostly are around travel, but they're like bigger, like if you only had 6 months to live kind of thing.
Good. That's
So
what
not necessarily what I'm going to do in the next 6 weeks. You know what I mean?
Okay, but if you can add some in there, and just like I'm glad that you're on the live Q&A then, because the big ones are great. Like I have to go see Brazil again and to go to Europe, like travel the world in general. And I put, instead of travel the world, because that's like a big goal that's going to take a few years, I put specific places that I want to go to, right? Because if you're dying in 6 months, maybe it won't be possible to travel the world, but maybe you can go to your favorite places, right? Or something like that. And then
Right.
I make plans for it. So like in the next 6 weeks, I'm planning out probably going to like New York for my niece's 15s and stuff like that. We're planning on moving out. So like there's a bunch of things in the works in the next 6 weeks that I can like maybe not check off, but I'm moving towards checking it off. Does that make sense?
Oh, right. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. So just working towards them in general. Okay. And then we went over the remember. I'm not going to go over journal prompts in the live Q&A, but again, the journal prompts in general, you want to be able to go through them whenever you can, even the days that you're not doing Align Action Academy. A lot of people are printing them out and doing them every few days or every day, just a few of them, just to keep you motivated, keep you going, and keep you in activity. And then week 2, just to make sure that nobody had questions about this one, because this one's a little complicated, but it's really because I didn't want to make it cookie cutter and I wanted to give you examples. So it's about learning principles that will bring you inspiration, joy, strength, willpower, confidence, compassion, and it's a 5-step process. And this 5-step process, I gave you time to be able to come up with what that is for you. I explained it, and I gave you time to write down what that is for you and how you feel like you would come out and play with it. And then I also some examples. So like having faith in yourself, your adventures, your dreams. For now, there you go. And then no expectations is all about not having any judgments, creating new possibilities. And I gave you an example of like my sister calling, and I put no expectations as her name, so I knew it was her, just so I would have no expectations when I picked up the phone, not like thinking that she's gonna ask me for money or anything like that, right? So creating a new future versus living in the past the entire time. Live This Day is part of that apocalypse. I've been doing the Be Here Now alarms myself, where I breathe in at least 3 times and inhale and exhale. I do gratitudes every morning, or every morning that I can remember to do it. Mindfulness and meditation is important for Live This Day. It's all about being in the present moment, getting curious. So it's all about speaking up, stop hiding, and really stop focusing on like the hows, the whens, the wheres, and really focus on listening to your intuition instead, and open-ended questions, and then letting your inner child out. So this is like Christina was mentioning about getting creative and doing photography classes and drawing and so on and so forth. You want to make time to play and do self-love in general, right? So, and we're going to talk more about self-love in week 4. You can see it on my little screen over here. You girls get like a small sneak peek, right? So that's going to happen. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then what made you happy as a kid? So I've been playing Sims this week, and I ended up buying Sims, and I'm like enjoying it immensely. I played Hatchimals with my baby sister. She turned 6 yesterday. So like just playing with kids is a way for me personally to get my inner child out as well, right? And tomorrow I'll have a kids party that I'm going to for my baby sister too. And for week 2, day 3, this I would say is the most complicated and the one that's going to take up the most time for day 1, day 2, day 3, and week 2. And it's all about being in your purpose, finding your purpose, but being who you are consistently. So this one, what a lot of people tend to mess up with is the qualities. They think they have to use all of them. And just to be clear, if that was you, please redo the purpose. I know someone messaged me about that, was like, oops, I did it wrong. That's fine. I tried to explain it as much as possible in the video, but I'm going to tell you again to not use every single word here. It's just the word that call to you. And the more that you reuse them, the better. Okay, so I used, and I gave you examples in the bottom. This is like the one that I made personally myself, like this is legit. And I put a bunch of joys, connections, loves, and then at the end, you get to see my example as well of this was my top 5 qualities. And noticed again that I ended up mixing like connection and love. That's the same thing to me in my head. And then creativity and freedom are like the definition. When I was sort of writing down like what creativity is to me and what freedom is, I realized that they both had to do with like flow, being yourself, and just like enjoying the moment, right? So when you do the qualities as an extra bonus, that I don't think I mentioned in the video, is figure out what your definition is for those. And you'll see that some of them are more related to each other than you really think, right? And you probably chose the words because, definitions of like dictionary.com. But if you focus on your own definitions of these, it'll probably be like very similar to each other. And this is something that I learned from, for the ones that are in the book club, it was Finding Your Soul's Agenda by Annie Anderson. Annie Anderson is awesome. And she talks about, instead of 5 qualities and being your purpose, she's all about like being your purpose is one specific word. And it's really cool. If you haven't done it, my word was love. So of course, my first quality is love. And it may be similar for you too. Like your quality may be the same thing or something similar to your definition of your Finding Your Soul's Agenda. And that's the point, because your purpose doesn't change no matter what test you do. And normally, a lot of these will change. Like if I do this again in like 2 years, I did this the first time like 2 or 3 years ago. Some of these qualities did change, like spirituality was my 5th one, and creativity was above, freedom wasn't in there before. But obviously you changed. But love and joy, my top 2, have consistently been my top 2. It may change places every once in a while depending on how I feel, but they will always be there, right? And then just realizing that when you are living these 5 qualities, whatever you're doing, that you are living in your purpose, right? So every time that I'm connecting, such as live Q&A calls or doing Aligned Action Academy, being there for you girls in the Facebook groups, and that is connection and love for me, and I'm living out my purpose. And when I'm doing it with joy, then I get to be like extra happy and dandy, and it's like, that's my nickname for a reason, right? So realizing what are some activities that you can do, and I think that's down here somewhere. Yeah. How can you sprinkle these qualities daily in your life? What are some activities that you can do that will allow you to bring out these qualities consistently throughout your day? And again, your qualities don't have to be anywhere near mine. And even if, for whatever reason, you're like, oh my God, I did my qualities and it's the exact same 5, the list and everything, I doubt it. But just in case if it is, realize that yours may have a different definition and that you may do them differently. Like maybe you hate live Q&A calls. That's fine. Thank you for being here, rewatching this. But if anything, you may have connection/love when you're contributing to somebody, you're helping a homeless person or whatever it is, maybe helping them with their health. Whatever it is that for you it is, just know that it's right for you. It doesn't have to be right for anybody else. Okay? So I think that was the main portion of it. And then how can you add these missing qualities to your hate to-dos? For that one, let me explain that really quickly. My hate to-dos, or for example, going to the dentist or doing the dishes. And an example I showed you is like, how can I add connection/love to doing the dishes? Well, maybe I can do it with someone else in my family, like I clean and they wash up, as an example. Or for joy, I start singing like a maniac when I'm doing dishes, right? So figuring out how you can add, maybe not all of them, but just one will do the trick to your hate to-dos, right? So going to the dentist, I end up like holding on to someone's hand for dear life, right? As an example. And then also trying to figure out, okay, well, my 3 was freedom, joy, and calm is what's missing in the dentist. How can I get calm, or how can I bring joy while I'm going to the dentist? A little difficult, but when you practice it, you can get there, right? All right, perfect. So I went through all of them. If you girls have another question, this is the time to speak up. I'm going to stop sharing my screen again. And then I think week 3 is going to be freaking awesome. Week 4 is like my baby at the moment. I love week 4. But week 3, I know some of you have talked to me about like having procrastination issues, or you're not focusing on Aligned Action Academy, or your idea, you're letting other things in life take over. That's perfectly fine. And that's when I say, look at week 3. And you're going to see it's all about focus. It's all about decluttering your life. You're going to hear a little bit about the 2 voices in your heads. And if you want a sneak peek, you can check out my podcast, my New Hip Business podcast. and you're going to be able to see the two voices more. I think it's like day 2, episode 2 that I talk about it. And then overcoming procrastination is the huge one that everyone loves. And like, it changes you when you know how to overcome your own procrastinations consistently. And that's something that when you do it with your accountability partner and talk about it, you're going to start getting more openings than you expected. Okay. So I have a few more minutes. So I want to leave it open. I also, if you have a question, unmute yourself or put in the chat box. I also had a question from Rachel that she asked me to talk about it throughout the live Q&A. So let me get there. It was something about like how to organize or outline your book. Let me see. Okay. Okay, yeah. How do I organize my book? And I ended up sending her like a little book outline that can be used for like self-development, regular storytelling, fiction or nonfiction. Like it has different outlines. It's very cookie cutter is the way that it shows it. But I want you girls to be clear. The reason that I haven't given you girls like, this is the only way that you can do it. I give you girls different exercises and different ideas because I want you to practice week 2 inspiration, right? I want you to practice being creative and realizing that it doesn't have to be cookie cutter. We're all different and unique. Your courses, your books, your businesses can all be different and unique too, right? And be able to take a risk and try it. And then in week 4, we're gonna end up doing something called market research. Some of you have already are a little bit ahead and have done that separately with me, with my one-on-one clients. That's perfectly fine. You can kind of like redo it again, or we can figure out how, after you do market research, you can never do enough research. You'll find that out soon enough. But when it comes to organizing your book, there's a difference between like the whiteboard effect and also figuring out like, what do your clients want? What are your ideal clients, people that you want to read this book or be a part of your business, or your clients themselves? What do they want? So talking to them versus trying to figure everything out. And again, I want you to stay in the step that you're in. Right now, we're in the middle of inspiration and breakdown. Maybe you don't want to stay in breakdown, but you can continuously try to be in inspiration mode until we get to incubation. All right, so keep trying to be inspired, be creative, get in the flow, and stop worrying about the how so much. Like, okay, well, Jasmine hasn't really gone through like how to start a business. Like, what do I name my business? Stop worrying about that right now and let it come to you. And then you'll see, by the way, my name for my business has changed like 6 times. And that's super normal. And it will probably change a few more before I like stick to 100%. So know that it's normal. It's not the end of the world. And just figure out where you are and what comes to you. Okay. And so I told Rachel that I sent her those book outlines, but to not use them as cookie cutter. It's your book. It's for your clients. So let it be how you want, right? Like my book, the way that I'm designing it in my head is going to be like chapter story, story, like a fictional story. And then I'm going to talk about like the exercises that I learned throughout that story. And I don't think I've really seen that not often, if anything. So, or I may do like little like book areas. Like in this page, I ended up learning this, and this, or I'm still thinking about it, but I want it to be kind of like a Paulo Coelho, but explaining what I'm learning throughout the process, right? So something like that. And I haven't seen a book like that. So when you're getting out of the ordinary, you're going to end up realizing that more is possible, okay? So I think that's the main thing I want to talk about. It's 12:27 for me. We got 3 minutes. Christina, you unmuted yourself. Do you have anything else you want to mention?
No, I was going to say thanks. That was helpful.
Okay, cool. Yay. All right, perfect. So I think I'm going to end it early. Barbara, if you have any specific questions, because I haven't heard you talk, and I think you told me that you were just going to be here to hang out, that's perfectly fine, okay? You could just message me if you have any questions after this. I kind of went through week 2, and I think I'm good. We good?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I'm going to stop the recording. Bye, girls.